The first experiments in central banking helped create the South Sea Bubble in England and the Mississippi Scheme in France in the early 1700s. Both episodes led to a crash and widespread bankruptcies. In fact, periods of central banking have always led to disasters. This long-term chart shows the history of U.S. central banking as it relates to the stock market, and this includes the brief life of the Second Bank of the United States and its aftermath, specifically 2 crashes and depressions. Today's Federal Reserve Bank was chartered in 1913. It was also a late joiner to a long bull market which carried into the 1920s. The aftermath, again, was a crash and the Great Depression. But the difference this time was the government let its monopoly bank keep right on going. It joined the long wave from 1932, especially the leg since 1982, and most especially in the leg since 2009, as a partner with activist central banks worldwide. The outcome will be no different this time: disaster. It's no surprise that the era of big government itself began with the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, the income tax in 1916, and the 1927 McFadden Act, which extended the Federal Reserve's charter into perpetuity. These few years are when the United States changed into a nation of high taxes, inflation, regulation, debt, and foreign wars. All of this rewarded the politically connected classes, but these trends have not been a total victory for the state. The government abandoned real money in 1965. On the timeline, this correlates with a profound shift in the attitude of U.S. citizens about the government. They don't trust it. So, even as a monopoly over money helped the political class to grow in wealth and power, they've also lost credibility. The next big monetary event will not be more inflation, but deflation. The vast paper money debt will become unpayable and in turn begin to contract. Remember, debt measures a future that has already been consumed. We do not take pleasure in saying this, yet we say it anyway because the knowledge of what's coming means it doesn't have to come to you. You don't have to be one of the investors who are shocked when today's pace of consuming the future begins to implode. You don't have to be among the people who've already borrowed it all and consumed it all while promising to pay it back. Those debts will be repaid by what Europeans call austerity. That is a fancy word for government-imposed hardship. Most people will be forced to live on less.